Look at that beautiful face. All right.
Hi.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce you to this beautiful birthday girl, I want to thank Five Star Guitars for helping support this show from the very beginning. If you see this logo anywhere, make sure that you give them a good high five. Go out to fivestarguitars.com and buy your stuff online, or check out their in-store inventory in Beaverton. You can also get repairs done, and they have lessons out the door. So you can even book a Skype lesson with Jennifer Batten to learn how to play guitar. How's that? So go to fivestarguitars.com. You'll find out about all that stuff. Now, my beautiful friend here and I have known each other for a handful of years through the music scene in the Pacific Northwest. I know a little bit about this woman's history, but today is a special day. Not only is it her birthday, but I just found out that her musical hero, Ann Wilson, also shares a birthday within a very short span on the
Tomorrow.
same day. Oh, tomorrow. Okay. So
Yeah, tomorrow.
just separated by a few hours then.
Yeah.
So
And
excellent.
years. And years.
And years. But yeah, but still, that's a big deal, right? So I why don't we talk a little bit about your musical, you wear so many hats and outfits and voices. So you want to talk a little bit about your current roster of bands that you've been performing in? Oh, wait, ladies and gentlemen, Donna. This is Donna. I didn't get to introduce you. Here she is. This is
Oh.
Donna. Donna McVay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So alter ego DL Carr on Facebook, and of course alter ego in a few bands as well. So yeah, I do a tribute to Heart. That was the very first one.
That's called
Before
Barracuda.
that, it was top 40 stuff in various bands, and then we put a Pat Benatar in there, and Ray does a Bad Company, so we kind of put those three together and we call it the triple shot sometimes.
Okay.
And then we did something that was very close to my heart as well, that I've wanted to do for a while, which is a Linda Ronstadt tribute. She has such a fantastic voice as well, as Anne does. They both influenced me in my younger years, strong vocal women to kind of learn from and listen to how they sang and how they made those sounds, and basically they taught me how to sing. They taught me how to use my voice, which is really cool. And then yeah, now we're kind of dabbling a little bit into possibly some not possibly, we're going to do some Fleetwood Mac in the future.
Okay.
So
And
yeah, I
and you're
mean, I might not sound like everybody that I do, but I try and catch the essence of what's going on. I listen to the inflections.
okay.
I listen to phrasings and all that stuff, and I try and get as close as possible.
Okay.
So it's sometimes it might not be the spitting image of how they sound, but I try and incorporate as much as I can within my abilities to capture what they're doing and portray it to the audience.
Yeah. Well, I think
So
you do a pretty remarkable job. I know.
thank
I mean,
you.
the Ann Wilson with Barracuda is the first thing that I got to see you do, and I
Yeah.
was floored. Top to bottom, the band is just such an amazing tribute to Heart. But you can see that you spent the important time getting every ounce from the sound. You talked about the essence and the inflections, and but the movements, and there's a lot of visual stuff that went along with Heart back in the early days that you really
Yeah.
captured too. So the costumes and even the movements, on stage. And I think that those details are not lost on music fans that come to see it.
Yeah. Well, as you know, that's important. I mean, if they come to see, and basically you're you're trying to bring back those memories that they remember from their youth, and the important times of their lives. So you have to do that. If you don't do that, then you're just a cover band. You're not a tribute band. You're not bringing anything different than any other cover band would do. So
Sure. Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of people that are watching this have seen you and do your thing. There may be some friends of mine that are overseas or possibly around the country that don't really differentiate between a cover band and a tribute band. Do you want to maybe spell out what your interpretation of that difference is?
Well, I mean, it's a lot what I just said. Cover bands do covers by everybody, and usually they put their own spin on stuff because they're covering so many different bands and so many different songs. So they just do them the way they do them. And with a tribute band, it's different. With a tribute band worth their grain of salt anyway,
Right.
it's a difference, because you have to, like I said, you have to create that essence. You have to have something that connects people, not just to the song, but to the band and the greatness that that band brought to their audience.
Right.
So whether it's costumes, well, it should be costumes as well if
Sure.
they're a period kind of a band, like psychedelic stuff, and or that's even heavy metal or whatever the genre is. You
Sure.
have to capture that, and you have to capture the years, and the clothes they wore and the songs they did and all that stuff, because it's important to bring the whole thing together and make people understand and just connect.
Yeah.
So it's way different than just being a top 40 band. There's nothing wrong with top 40 bands. I
Oh,
was
sure.
there.
Yeah.
And but it's totally different. And if you take it seriously, then there's a lot that you have to really nitpick.
Sure.
You just can't play the songs. You have to listen to the guitar solos. I mean, the guitar player, there's signature stuff that people remember from the albums.
Right.
And you have to do that, and it's like that for the keyboard players, the drum rolls, whatever
Right.
it is, right?
Yeah.
And I have an amazing band.
Yeah, you do.
And they are, I mean, I'm so proud to have them behind me. They make my job easy, basically. So yeah, it's all good.
We've had the conversations about tribute bands before. We've talked about comparing it to be a Broadway play or an off-Broadway play, because it's a performance, right? It's more than just a presentation of the music. Do you have a
I
hummingbird?
lost you. Hang on.
No problem. I still see it.
There you are. Okay.
We're admiring your beautiful garden space back there. This is
Okay.
so nice. Look at this. You got flamingos. You've got angels. You've got,
I know. I got a little waterfall.
Oh man, and it's the hummingbird feeder behind you. This is
Yeah. If everybody has the urge to go to the bathroom, it's because I have waterfall in the back, and yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, they're all hanging out at their own house, so they can do it whenever. Feel free to just pee right there. You're good. Now you're up in BC. What part of the Vancouver area are you in?
We're in Coquitlam, which is it's let's see, half an hour from downtown Vancouver and about half an hour from the U.S. border.
Okay,
So we're kind of in the middle.
South. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That as I make my way across the border, I need to make sure that I.
Oh yeah, Vancouver, Canada, not Vancouver, Washington.
I know, but I'm heading your way as often as I possibly can, as you know.
Yeah.
So when I was talking about the tribute thing being a comparison to Broadway performers, and so you might have a Broadway performance of Cats happening in New York, and then there's a traveling presentation, right? They're hitting different venues, different theaters around the country. If you had a presentation of Cats without the...
Oh,
All right, can you hear me all right? Okay.
Yeah.
I said, if you're performing Cats in Des Moines, Iowa, and you don't show up with the costumes, and you're not acting out the same dialogue, the same script, then it just doesn't work, right? But the tribute thing is really sort of a representation of what that band did, just off Broadway, and if they're, like you said, if they're worth their weight in salt, they put the effort into making the aesthetic together and making things sonically as close to possible as the record. I bring it up and I ask people's different opinions about it if you're in a tribute band, and it's sometimes interesting to hear what bands like if there's somebody that's only in original bands, I hear a lot of disparaging remarks about
Oh
tributes,
yeah,
and we all have. And my own original band, sometimes has an issue with me playing tributes. And I try to explain, the comparison. Essentially, it's a blessing to be able to be on stage, right? To be a performer. But
exactly.
yeah, how do you deal with the haters that come at you with the anti-tribute thing?
Well, I empathize with them because, in a way, because I understand how hard it is for an original band to get their music heard, to get an audience going. And then now with streaming and stuff, it's so hard for them to make a living, and then we fly in, with our tribute bands, and we're making money, it seems to them, and haven't put any work into it.
Right.
But I mean, there is a lot of work that goes into it if you want to do it right, and
Right.
you want to do it, um, at a level where people are going to appreciate you. So so we're making good coin compared to them.
Sure.
So I get it,
Hmm.
but there's room for, as far as I'm concerned, there's room for everybody, and I'll support you 100%, if you're a cover band, and I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm not as talented as you are. Perhaps I can't write. I don't have. I mean, it takes a lot of commitment, I think, to be, a starving original
Oh
artist,
yeah. Right.
and hope to God somebody says, "Oh, you're great,
Yeah.
come with me." But
Yeah.
that's so rare, that we all have to find what we're good at, and I seem to be better at um, imitating people, I guess,
Sure.
than actually coming up with my own stuff.
Your
And
character
that's
talent.
just the way it is.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Right?
it's a beautiful thing that you found that, that sort of natural talent to be able to emulate. And it is, like I said, I mean, it's a Broadway performer is
Yeah,
sort of emulating the original artist that was part of the cast.
exactly.
Um,
And
Sorry.
there are performers that have made their whole careers and haven't even written any tunes.
Right.
I mean, Elvis, Linda's one for as well. I mean, I think she co-wrote maybe 2 songs in her lifetime, but she
Really.
made a career on singing other people's tunes. She wasn't a tribute artist, but she kind of was paying tribute to, like she said, if there was a song that I loved, I had to sing it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel. So many there's bands, and I love everything that they do, and I'm happy to be a tribute artist and get to sing all those songs because
Yeah.
they're awesome.
you know it- you found that way of sort of discovering your way to mimic, right? So your voice mimics these iconic artists. Was that something at an early age that you picked up? Were you involved in musical things that you just felt like, wow, I can sing like so and so, and at an early age, like 2 years ago when you were 21?
Yeah.
Mm.
um for a lot of years I I never grew up thinking I was going to be a singer or really wanting to be a singer.
Really?
um it kind of fell into my lap. Like, my whole family is musical, as other families, and our way of recreation when the family got together was the guitars would come out and everybody would sing, good, bad, or otherwise. So I just thought everybody sang.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't I got talked into doing stuff at school, and I was on TV a couple of times. I had this girl who played guitar for me and stuff, but I I don't know, I was clueless. I didn't put two and two together, and I remember when I was young, I had a girlfriend who wanted to sing with me, and this girl that played guitar with me, and it was for a fundraiser for our curling rink. And she said,
Did you say
"No, we
your
can't
curling
ever
rink?
sing with you." Yeah, that's what the small communities did. They
Okay.
had fundraisers, and you would pledge money for your favorite um, performer, I guess, and then
Okay.
the money would help them raise money for the curling rink
Okay.
to build a new one, or if you never had one, to build your very first one. And so she talked me into not having my girlfriend sing with me because she couldn't sing. She couldn't hold a tune, but I didn't care. I just wanted her to sing with me.
Yeah.
And she got mad at me. And because she was more popular, I lost a bunch of friends. All my friends got mad at me and I didn't understand why. And I remember that really scarred me for a long time, because I remember I won first prize, which was a whole $7. And I threw that money at my mom and I said, I don't want that money. I want my friends back.
Oh,
And ever since then, I think I've had this thing about, I'm always worried that people are going to think I'm something, and
yeah.
I'm not. I just want to sing and I want to make people happy by doing what I love to do. And I really try and when people in the audience, I really try and connect with them, because I want them to know that I appreciate them as much as they're appreciating what I'm doing.
You can see
So
it.
it's but I don't remember ever really mimicking anybody, but I always listened to those inflections. I always listened to how the song was sung
Mm-hmm.
and tried to pretty much, do the best I could with, my interpretation of what I was doing.
Sure.
So long story short, there it is.
No, it's they're the right stories. I love hearing where people's influences are,
Yeah.
and it's an interesting story too, that your humility was at an early age, when you were in school and you really didn't want to lose a friend, because the sort of innate part of the music business is that talent shone through, right? And
Yeah.
that does affect relationships sometimes in a big way. Speaking of relationships, oh my goodness, look at that
Yeah.
guy, right on.
And
Hi, hi,
and
buddy.
like,
Hey, man.
Uh,
Hey, Kev.
for those of you that don't know, the booking agent of the Pacific Northwest Merman Productions, Murray McVay, um, doesn't yet know the birthday girl Donna, but he's stalking her right now, and it looks like if he plays his cards right, he might get lucky.
hey, little lady, you want to
Big.
sing?
That's how it gets started, right there.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just wanted, if I could tell you how the CUDA thing started.
I don't know what a
Barracuda?
CUDA. No, we're not anywhere near there. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Oh,
Wait, hold on a second. Wait a minute. I know you're the manager guy, but this is her birthday. This is all about her. You and I get a conversation in a week.
No, but this is about her.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and I'll go.
You bought her
We
off a
went to the
truck.
P&E where you played 2 years ago. The P&E, remember, Vancouver.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And there was a karaoke run by a radio station, and I said to her, "Why don't you go up and sing?" And she's like, "No, no, no." I says, "Well, hey, go up and sing Barracuda." I think she did Straight On.
Yeah.
And this was like 7 years ago. By the time we finished, there had to be 200 or 300 people just going nuts.
Really?
And then we said, "We got to do this thing." And that's all. I'll leave you now. Bye.
Just a one-off karaoke performance. Really? See you, Marie.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, people were going, oh yeah, they set up a ringer or whatever. I didn't know the guy. I just went up and sang a song. But yeah, people told me that I sounded like Ann Wilson, and I guess we have I sound like a young Ann Wilson, when her voice was different. She's much huskier now,
Mm-hmm.
and she's lost a little bit of her top range and stuff. So her voice has changed over the years. Whereas I sound more like she did in the 70s, like when she started.
It's amazing that you've able to maintain that. It's weird how some people's voices, as they mature, right? I mean, for men, it's so hard to keep the height, the range up high. I mean, obviously Ann Wilson's range is way up there. It's crazy that you're still able to maintain that. I know that most of the bands that we travel with, a lot of the bands have to drop things down a step, in order to make it sound right. And the audience sometimes can tell, but it's just really the only way to be able to sing on key, and
Yeah.
but yeah, you nail everything from, because Anne's range is really broad. It's not just that she has a high voice, because there's a lot of really low stuff that she has too. And for such a petite little thing that you are, it's amazing that you have such a range and can really hit those iconic notes. I think, man, there are some of those, even the 80s hits, that the ballads that have like astral heights in their ballads, and you're nailing them, and with no tracks and with no help, and
Yeah. Well, when I was working, I worked a lot of years in construction, and I did lane closure. I was exposed to a lot of diesel. I used to fill all our tanks in the yard and stuff with the, I'd take the forklift and go to the gas station and all that stuff. And I found that I was having vocal issues because it was irritating my vocal cords. And there was this one little spot where sometimes I would open my throat to go for a note, and I'd kind of go, ah!
Yeah.
And everybody in the audience, I'm sure, was wondering what was going on. But ever since I quit my job, which has been about 2 years now, I guess. Wow, time flies. That's really cleaned it up for me. So I'm finding it easier too. There was a point where I really had to watch how I was forming my notes, because to stop that from happening.
Okay.
And I tried everything, people were telling me that, oh yeah, you should try this, you should try that. And it was just an environmental thing that I couldn't quite get a handle on, but it's better now.
Thank goodness, just in time for the pandemic. And
Yeah. And I find that I've got a good upper range. I don't have as much of a lower range. There's a lot of country singers that if I try and do their songs, there's like there's 2 notes that are just too low for me. And Stevie Nicks as well. Yeah, there's 2 songs that if we get this together, I'm going to have to probably raise the key for them. Or actually, she has a version when she was younger as well that are in a higher key that I'm going to have to do, because there's those 2 notes.
I was wondering if you were going to do Stevie or Christy McVie, in the Fleetwood thing, but
no, I can't play piano. That'll be Layla's job. Layla plays.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Layla plays in the she does the stuff in the Linda Ronstadt. She plays guitar. She plays keyboards. She's just so talented that I'm just so glad that we have her as well. And I'm happy to do the Fleetwood too, because it's going to showcase her more.
Okay.
Because she's got a phenomenally strong voice as well. So we're both, it gives us both a chance. I get to do harmonies with her, which I almost love more than singing lead.
I'll bet.
And she gets to shine a little more because she deserves it. And I'm looking forward to that.
Who else is in that lineup? Who's your Lindsay?
Well, it's going to be the whole same band.
Okay. Yeah. So.
And except we're adding a guy named Daryl Ebert.
Okay.
And he plays keyboards as well, but he's going to do all the fancy schmancy stuff. Plus he plays oh God, he didn't play anything. And then when we asked him if he wanted to be in the band, he bought all these instruments and learned how to play them. He's playing steel guitar. He's playing banjo. He's doing some acoustic when Layla's doing piano. So it's just, and then he's doing, in different drum, he's doing all that. What's it called? I don't know, the weird sounds. He does all the weird sounds and everything. And he's a very accomplished musician. Yeah. So it's fun.
The great thing about you having the same musicians across all these bands, number one, the best thing is that you've developed a chemistry on stage and off stage, right? Where you understand where each other are going. There are a lot of unspoken things that you can do on stage because everybody kind of innately feels where the other person's going. So that's a great benefit. The second thing is you never have to worry about conflicts of other bands getting in the way. If those guys are in 3 other bands, if everybody's, if you've got people from different bands, there's going to be an overlap. So you kind of erased that problem, and you can do photo shoots all in one day by just changing costumes. That's kind of a nice deal, right? And really offer any kind of booking opportunities as a really great package. If you've got 5 or 6 different bands you can offer, and they say, well, I want these 2 or these 3, same people get the gigs, right? So you and you can all travel together. And are they all Canadians?
Yeah, and the thing is, because we're traveling such a distance,
right,
it's good for us to have more to offer, because it's, even though it's on a, in the middle of the night when there's no traffic, it might be a 4.5 hour drive to hours to get there because of the traffic. It's just totally crazy. So for us to be able to go down there and maybe get a Linda Ronstadt gig and then a Barracuda gig the next day, and then do a triple shot with Ray doing the Bad Company as well. I mean, that just all adds, you know, it adds, and
Yeah.
it just makes us, more viable, basically.
You know, you touched on something that I really hadn't thought about. Did I freeze up on you? You there? I can see you, but you're frozen. Hello, hello.
Uh-oh, we froze, Kevy.
I can see you. I think I'm still live. When you come back, I'll just keep talking. I can hear airplanes in Donna's thing. It's the feds blocking the their internet signal. Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Yeah, Donna, if you can hear me, I'm here. Hello, hello. Yeah, if you can't hear me, it looks like your internet may have frozen right there. So, can you hear me now?
We seem to have frozen.
Yeah. If you can hear me, go ahead and log back out and call me back in.
Well, it's fun while it lasted.
Here, well, I'm trying to let her know. Okay. So I have her in the waiting room, and I'll talk about a little bit while she connects back up again. But I do want folks to know that Donna, based up there in Canada, and her husband, Murray runs this booking agency, the Merman Productions, and he's got all of these bands as a roster. And I could talk a little bit about those, but Murray's going to come on July 1st, and we're going to talk about this Canadian invasion that's going to be sort of a new, he's bringing a new offering this year. So a lot of these bands come down from Vancouver, Victoria, as part of his package. And what I wanted to get into with her was talking about how they deal with the economic side of things, because there are tariffs and visas that they have to get to come across. And that stuff kind of gets overlooked from most bands, or patrons don't realize that they've got to pay a really hefty sum to come across the border. So figured maybe we can have her do that when she comes back. Let me just ping her real quick and tell her to come back in. Okay. And I'll also take this moment to talk about Abducted by the 80s presents Back to the Basement. If you missed the live broadcast last week, you can go to www.abductedbythe80s.com, and there's an archive on YouTube of the live virtual concert that was a benefit for direct relief. COVID-19 frontline workers got some financial benefit for EMTs and firefighters and medical professionals. And there she is. Excellent. So while she connects here, go to www.abductedbythe80s.com, and you can see the event t-shirts that you can purchase to help that support that benefit. But you can also get a bunch of merchandise from the bands that performed, like A Flock of Seagulls and Wang Chung and Naked Eyes and Animotion, New Shoes, The Escape Club, Real Life, all sorts of bands. So check it out. And looks like Donna's just connecting to audio here. So let's see if her connection's any better. And then we're going to have Murray get her some new internet access for her birthday. And she's still connecting here. So while she does connect, I can also thank 5 Star Guitars for helping support me from the beginning. 5 Star Guitars. If you have not heard the beginning of this, I want to tell you that 5 Star Guitars has been an incredible sponsor. They hooked me up with this amazing Audix microphone, and they were pivotal in helping me get this up and off the ground in a more professional way. So thank you again, 5 Star Guitars. Go check out www.5starguitars.com, and you can see their inventory, book lessons, and get repairs done. All right, so now we've got Donna back, the birthday girl. She's getting her audio connected here. You can all see her. There she is. Hello, hello. How are you?
I hate technology.
Hey, you know what? It's okay. I can't be there to help IT set you up, with their social distancing laws, um, but we have a different view here a little bit. I could see more pink flamingos behind you.
Yeah, it's my phone this time.
Okay, cool. Thank you for dialing back in. I appreciate it. Hey, one of the things I was just talking about was that people that come to the shows oftentimes don't realize what you have to go through to take a Canadian band down to perform in the U.S. There are all sorts of things from, the customs issues. You're essentially a contractor working in the U.S., right? So do you have to have a work visa?
Yeah, we have to get a P2 visa.
Okay.
Everybody has to get a P2 visa. Plus, we have to go in. We were having issues with some of the border guards, so we had to actually, rather than just going down in the normal lanes, we ended up having to get a carnet, which lists all our equipment. I think it's because we had a trailer and we weren't traveling down with just everything in the van.
Gotcha.
So we have a carnet. We have to go through the truck border crossing with all the trucks and stuff.
More diesel fuel for your throat.
Yeah, but all in all, it's worked out well. So we have to. The visas are good for a year if we have contracts and sign contracts for playing and stuff, which is never a problem. And Murray takes care of all that, and he's actually got there's about 6 or 8 Canadian bands now that are going into the States and playing for Jason.
Yeah, that's amazing. The partnership between Merman Productions and JFL Presents has been an amazing thing. And Murray and I were going to talk about that when we're having our conversation on July 1st. I think JFL will also jump on there and we can have a discussion about the Canadian invasion. But I remember that big group of Canadian bands that first showed up at a Hair Fest that had Aerosmith Rocks, you had the Aerosmith tribute, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
And when you guys played together, that's phenomenal because it really is like seeing the real two bands right there. You and Danny Dean fronting those gigs it's amazing.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about. I was just going to say, do you have any like funny experiences or any kind of like harrowing experiences about the border crossing, getting down here? That you can talk about.
We've actually had some pretty good luck with the border. We haven't had many issues at all. No really good stories really, but we're just so happy that Jason was looking for a heart tribute and found us on YouTube.
That was it, huh?
Yeah, and so he messaged Murray and he said, "Hey, how would you like to play in the States?" He said, "Pardon my English, but boy, can that girl sing?" Well, he said, "Holy F, can that girl sing?" But
right.
So it's like yeah, and also it's it's a whole different experience down there from here.
Yeah.
Because the tribute scene is a bit washed down here. Like there's not a lot of good tribute bands. When we came over to Oregon, it was kind of like being home, you know, and all the musicians there are so wonderful. They all, just embraced us. We don't get any, goddamn, Canadian bands coming in and
taking our gigs.
But instead, I mean, you filled in for us once.
Yeah, gladly.
And everybody's been so great. And then I got a chance to sing with some of the guys at the fundraiser for Merle, and to be included in all that stuff is just, it's so heartwarming. And every time we go down there, I can't wait to see everybody because it's just one big family, and even the fans, it's like being in a big concert. It's like being the real thing on a smaller scale because people are on the dance floor there's barely any tables in some of these places. Everybody is standing and they're fist pumping right in front of the stage and they're singing along. And we're kind of used to everybody like sitting at tables here and kind of ignoring you, and maybe some get up and dance, but it's not embraced as much as it is, it seems, or Oregon and even Washington too a bit, and just in the US, I guess, as general, because we played in Idaho and stuff too, and it's just a kind of a different experience. It's been really, really cool. Really.
You know, I play quite a bit in Canada as well. It's a little bit different when I'm up there with the Flock of Seagulls, you know, because we kind of, well, we bring our family, you know, I mean, really the bands that we travel with are our family. I do have amazing friends that I've met a lot through you guys too. You know, I saw that Daryl Dean jumped on here a second ago, and Daryl came out the first time I played up there with Animotion several years ago. And, you know, I love a lot of the people in that area. Tony Ferraro's one of my favorite drummers up in your hood, and plays with Spoons when they do the West Coast stuff. But there is something remarkable about this community and the bands and the people that come out. And I don't even call them fans really, because they're friends, you know, as much as, you know, I mean, of course they're fans of the music, but you know, we all hang out together. We have dinners together. We, you know, that when one band is performing, all the other bands are out there with all the patrons supporting the bands. I mean, we just, it's just like the biggest sort of backyard party that you can imagine. And, you know, Hairfest, of course, is the culmination of all that stuff. And people get so excited. That's the one time of the year that nobody wants to have anything else going on their calendars. And, you know, I had to race in last year. I took a flight in from the Hamptons. I took an Uber from the Hamptons to JFK, took a red eye, and flew in just in time to play. It was because I was going to play with both my bands, and I was not going to miss it. You know, it's one of the things that if I can help it, actually, that was 2 years ago. Last year, I was playing the Cavern Club in Liverpool, and I couldn't make it. But
that's right.
I had one excuse, and it was, you know, if I had to miss it, at least I could play what the Beatles did, you know. But it's the biggest event of the year for the tribute scene and all those people that come out, because people come from all over the country to come see it, you know. And you guys have a big contingent of people that come down from Canada for that too.
Yeah, we have had some of our Canadian friends come out. I mean, there's a lot of really good fans in Canada as well. You know, I mean, you know, we love playing in Oregon, but I mean, there are, you know, a few dozen people that come out to see us all the time when we do like the festivals around town and stuff, and theater. We do the odd theater gig and stuff. And there's a beautiful place called Blue Frog Studios in White Rock that we play. It's the recording studio that has a little performance hall of like 110 people, and it's, the acoustics are amazing, and friends come out to see us time after time, and it's wonderful to have people that support you, you know. But it is nice to go down to the States, because it's kind of like a little holiday, and we get to see all those people that we don't see all the time and get to know them better each and every time we play there. I meet a few people, you know, a few more times, and I am actually remembering their names and remembering their faces, and it's a totally different thing when they comment on Facebook and it's like, oh, I know who that is now.
Yeah.
You know,
they don't use alter ego names.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
You do have, when I announced today that we were going to have a little celebration conversation with you for your birthday, all the people got excited because everybody's missing your voice. You know, they really are.
We're missing playing.
I think in this time where you're preparing some of these other bands, have you found ways to stay creative and sort of inspired?
I've been doing a lot of yard work. Oh, hang on. Geez, my phone's going dead now. I've been doing a lot of yard work, and Murray and I have been puttering. Hang on, I gotta find a charger.
This is great. You're in the greenhouse now.
Yeah, but you know, we're discussing getting together. It's a little harder now because Ray has moved to the Okanagan Valley.
Oh, okay. How far is that from you?
It's about a 4.5 hour drive,
Oh,
and
wow.
it's in the Okanagan where all the wonderful fruit trees are and stuff. Oh, so oh God, I need a charger for my phone now. So so it's been a little harder to get together for rehearsals and stuff, and
Okay.
because of COVID, I think everybody just decided to take a break and just have some family time and you know, get some
Yeah.
things done that they don't have a chance to do ever. So so yeah.
You mentioned gardening. Are you and Murray able to have some valuable sort of reconnect time now that you're kind of not on the go all the time?
um
Got you muted there.
He's phoning me now. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of stuff around the house, a lot of stuff in the backyard, and just you know, just spending some time together, because sometimes things get so crazy, and when he's working, he's on the computer like 99% of the time.
Right.
So he lives upstairs in his office, and I live downstairs in my kitchen,
Yeah.
and we hardly ever get together, but
But
except, you know, for dinner and watching the news and stuff.
don't watch the
But
news.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
just kidding. That's my only advice. Don't watch the news. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of spooky.
Yeah, it is.
It's weird. Nah.
I watch Trudeau's press conferences more than I see any other news, actually. So I you know this.
You know, I can't complain about him. He's, you know, he's stepped up and he's really, I mean, we got our money quickly, you know, and nobody's overly freaking out that they're not paying their bills. Like
Yeah.
everything's been pretty good.
I love
Yeah.
hearing that. That is you know, I made some comment yesterday, I think, with one of my guests just about you know, joking to ask about how people are spending their stimulus package funds. And then I thought, you know, it's not only is it not great to talk about money sometimes, but it's such a touchy subject now when people are really having a hard time paying bills. And
Yeah.
but I do love seeing the success stories. You know, when I see Germany and New Zealand's governments allocating all this money towards live music, both in venues and artist support, I think you know, my heart is hopeful for a lot of nations to be able to contain or keep keep providing those cultural outlets. You know, um,
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about your band since they're continuous members. You want to talk about your lineup?
Yeah, well, there's Ray Roper. Ray Roper is a gold record recording artist. In the 70s, he was in a band called Stone Bolt, and they traveled all over the world. They were in Japan, and they were on the Midnight Special and all those things. And they had a song called "I Will Still Love You" that was used for weddings forever and ever. It's still a beautiful song that Ray sings. You know, and then there's Curtis Slipey. He's our drummer. He's phenomenal as well.
Yes, he
He's
is.
doing some original stuff with the Mike Luna band. I
Okay.
think they're doing some recording and stuff. Just it's a local original band in town here. And then there's lovely Layla Bourgeois, and she's multi-talented. She is a better musician than she gives herself credit for, and she's an amazing singer. And then there's Billy Mendoza. He's our bass player. Billy also does a tribute to Steely Dan. He's the lead singer in a Steely Dan tribute.
Wow.
And they're phenomenal as well.
Yeah, you would have to be.
Yeah, and he does some writing and stuff too. Layla and I did some harmonies for him on a tune last year, and he's got some more originals he's, I think, working on. He has got lots of time, I guess. So
Right now,
between his garden, he's got this little garden going, so he keeps posting all his newborns. It's wonderful.
I wanted so
And,
badly.
yeah, I don't have enough sun where I am. I got too many fir trees everywhere, so But yeah, and okay, who did I miss? And then of course when we do the Linda, there's Daryl Ibert,
Mm-hmm.
and did I miss anybody? I don't think
No,
so.
just the boss man, just the guy that makes it all happen.
Yeah, Murray's the backbone. When I told him I wanted to do the Heart tribute, another reason I wanted to do it is because I had a friend named Kimmy, and she was just I sang with her in a few bands, and then I lost track of her because she was doing her own thing. We did some backup singing and tribute bands actually, and I lost track of her a bit. But I saw her here and there, and I'd see her on media, and she was always so bubbly and outgoing. And she ended up taking her own life, and it was so shocking to me because I didn't know that she was so depressed, and it was all an act basically.
Yeah.
And that really hit me hard, and I started thinking about how short life can be, and how important it is to really do something, do the things that you wanted to do and have been talking about. And one of the things was I knew that I was not going to be my own recording artist, but I always wanted to do this Heart tribute. I've wanted to do it for quite a while. So that was what kind of pushed me out there to do it. And I went on Facebook and I said, hey, anybody interested? And, a few people said, yeah, we'll do it. So, that's how it started. And then, things evolved from there and members changed. And,
Sure.
but I appreciate all those people that stepped up in the beginning and their contribution, because if they wouldn't have done it, I wouldn't have done it. So,
Sure.
yeah, so
But being able to take something from a really difficult step like that, and sort of forge a life goal out of it, we shouldn't. It's unfortunate when we all only realize our dreams when tragedy strikes, right? At this point,
yeah.
Looking at what's happening right now with this pandemic, there are a lot of people struggling, and this, for selfish reasons. I mean, this my show has been really cathartic for me, and it's been a great connection for all the people that I really care about. But I see so many other people. That's why I don't watch the news. It's why I try to stay off social media in a lot of ways, because I think there's so much volatility. People against,
You're angry.
they're already struggling with everything else going on, and then when they are baited into battling each other, it feels like nothing progressive or productive gets done. And I don't mean to sound so pie in the sky, but I just really feel like we need a lot more love in our surroundings. We need to project positivity and sort of manifest something positive and good. And on really awful, tragic experience that you had with your friend, what a beautiful blessing and tribute to her that you really made happen by putting yourself at risk and just making this happen. And I'm glad that people jumped behind you too and helped support it. When you've got this pairing that you have, like, say, I'll just say Barracuda, because that's the band that I see you play with the most often, and it's a band that been around the longest for you, I believe, right? So there's no doubt in anyone's mind that you have Ann Wilson down. There's you've connected with Ann on a lot of different levels. I know you've met her, right? You've had time to hang out. When you put together a Nancy, that kind of chemistry and the vocal pairing that they have as sisters has got to be really hard to replicate. So when you've gone through membership changes and you developed, or you brought on lovely Layla, what kind of process did you know Layla already when you brought her into the band?
Not really. I knew of her, but it was kind of freaky circumstances how that happened. We were having issues at the time with what was going on, and we needed somebody to step in and do some shows.
Okay.
Because our Nancy at that time was going through, there was a lot of personal crap going on that I don't want to get into, but
Sure.
we had a bunch of shows and we had to find a replacement quick. So I kind of went on.
How quick?
I mean, we're talking a couple of weeks.
Wow. Okay.
We needed somebody to fill in and possibly take over. So Facebook is your best friend. I started checking out any girls that I knew that they could play guitar. And at the time, I think Rachel filled in and did a couple, but she was doing the Fleetwood Mac thing already. So she couldn't fill in for us. And we really needed to possibly find someone permanent. So she was, her name was kind of floated around from a few people. And actually Curtis worked with her a long time ago as well. So,
really? Okay.
Not that nobody knew her kind of thing.
Sure.
So I called her up and I mean, God bless her heart. She took on a lot.
Yeah.
She, and at first she said, oh no, I can't do it, and it's like, but I heard from people that she never gave herself enough credit and she was better than she thought she was. But the thing about Layla is like, she's not afraid to try, she, and like tell you, whenever she tries, she succeeds.
Wow.
So, so she really, really stepped up to the plate and learned whatever she could on her own. And then Ray and her got together and I mean, there's only one Nancy Wilson, so you can't expect ever to find somebody who's going to totally fill Nancy Wilson's shoes. But I've been lucky with the Nancys that I've had, that all of them really stepped up to the plate. And, they took the bull by the horns, and instead of being really intimidated because they couldn't cover everything, they did the best that they could do. And it's better than I could have expected. So,
yeah.
It's worked out well, and I'm happy that hopefully we'll never have to find another Nancy again.
Yeah, no kidding.
Between and Layla is amazing, and our voices are so, like, she's such a strong singer that I don't have to worry about, like, I've met my match, as somebody to harmonize with me and stuff. Like, I think that we're a good match. So
I'd love to hear the original stuff that you guys might be able to put together. You said that you sang together in some tributes before as well, or no, you were doing some other vocal work. What was it that you said you guys were harmonizing?
Billy had some stuff, and we did some harmonies for him.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Yeah, I'd love to hear just that isolated. I think I remember seeing Heart the last time they came through here, just a few months before the pandemic hit, and it was a different band at this point. After they reconnected, you could see that it was the chemistry wasn't there the way that it used to be, and it was unfortunate. And I didn't know if it was me being so attuned to looking at the details and the idiosyncrasies of a band, but I could see the disconnect between the two sisters, and it was unfortunate. It was, it translated across the entire band, and I'm sure you've seen them when they're on. When that band is on, it's nothing better, But I'm sorry.
Saw them just before they broke up, like just right after the incident happened.
Yeah.
And we knew something was up because they were not looking at each other on stage. Nancy was not engaging with the audience. She was just kind of like doing her thing, and Anne stood in her little spot there, and it was really weird. And we're going, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
So it's nice to see them together, but I think it's going to take time for the wounds to heal.
Yeah. What I felt like was anybody that was considering going out to see them would have a much more authentic experience seeing Heart right now watching you guys as a tribute, because the chemistry is there with you and Layla. It's pretty remarkable. And how is it looking for you guys? Did you have any sort of, I mean, obviously you've had COVID related cancellations, all of those things, but up in Canada, do you guys have any drive-in concerts planned or anything like that you might do that are sort of socially distant prepped?
Well, unfortunately, our BC government has decided that we can't have more than 50 cars.
Oh, really? At a drive-in? Okay.
It's not financially viable for a venue or for us to do that unless they, I mean, I think in Alberta or somewhere there was a drive-in concert and there was like 150 cars, and like, I mean, that's way better. Yeah. And if everybody's in their car, what's the difference? I'm not sure what the reasoning was for that, but so it's not really happening. There's not really a lot going on at all. I noticed that a few of the smaller venues that had singles are starting to start up again. A few of my friends I see are working. There is one bar that apparently is having bands again. I don't know how they're doing that. It must be, the stage actually looks pretty big so that they can social distance.
Yeah, on stage. But what about in the crowd? That's the thing, right?
And, a lot fewer tables and stuff, but I don't know how they can afford that unless the bands are playing for nothing.
Right. At this point, I would imagine bands don't mind taking a little bit of a cut and pay just to be able to perform. Well,
but that's kind of a sad thing to do, because as much as we want to play, if we start undercutting ourselves, then we're going backwards. We're not going to be able to make a living either. And everybody's going to be cutthroat, and they're going to go, oh, well, we'll play for cheaper than that.
Right.
And instead of, we have to stand in solidarity, I think, and stick to our guns, because I think people are really going to want quality entertainment. Yeah. And production has a bunch of that.
You've earned the right to command a nice price. I mean, really, you've paid those dues, and the band has really done their work. And so I think, it's interesting across provinces. I mean, similar to across states here in the U.S., where they have state governments that have different mandates, but they're starting to open some things up here. And I know even locally, 10 miles from my house, there was a small band that I knew from my local coffee shop that said, hey, we're just going to do this little intimate thing at the coffee shop. I had never been to this coffee shop, so I drifted down to check it out with my mask on. And the parking lot was packed. And I walked around the corner, and it was a 2-story building. It wasn't a coffee shop. It was this building where they had maybe 150, 200 people in there, shoulder to shoulder, not one mask. And I didn't even go inside. I looked in the window and I thought, wow, this is just, they're just going to throw caution to the wind. And I thought this, it's kind of unfortunate to see people kind of throwing in the towel now when we've spent a lot of time and effort, trying to make sure that we kind of curb this thing. But I do think that so much of it is people's frustration. They're desperate to have entertainment, and hopefully, people can be smart about it and healthy, but I'm grateful that you guys up in Canada have a little bit of support from your government in order to help sustain independent workers, self-employed workers and gig workers. It's supposedly happening here too. Just haven't seen that come through yet. But another text from the band just now says Austin, Texas, July 31st. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I hold out hope, but I don't. I haven't bought any plane tickets at all yet. So I think.
Yeah.
Now we talk a little bit about your sort of your love for Heart and your connection with Anne. Is there another artist that maybe you wouldn't want to cover, but if you could front any band, past or present, if Janice was still around, or if you needed to fit in her shoes, do you have another artist that you just think, man, she totally has my spirit behind me?
Evanescence.
Wow. Yeah. Really? Okay. Yeah. You want to do some rocking?
Yeah, but she's got that interesting voice as well. The falsetto, head tone, whatever, when I guess it's head tone. It's just, putting that subtleness. I like vocalists that can go from subtle to kick ass. And
Yeah.
that's like Ann Wilson, that's like Pat Benatar, that's like Linda Ronstadt. You know, they can whisper, and they have so much control. They can change. That is what I like. I like to I just don't want to sing at one level all the song, you know. I like
Yeah.
to mix it up. I like to prove that I can control the instrument that I was given. And so, yeah, that would be one, I think.
You know,
Yeah.
you talked about being able to control, and a lot of that is so emotionally driven when you've got dynamics, right? The dynamic aspect is so it's emotional. The dynamics is so emotional, right? So you can bring a mood from sort of somber and sad, and maybe it's a heartwarming ballad, to I'm going to get out here and kick your ass, Pat Benatar kind of vibe. Or, really, I mean, watching you do the Pat Benatar gig is crazy because you've got so much energy out there doing it too. It really is just fun to see that side of you, Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
She has so many good songs too, that even though I don't sound like her, like I don't have the same vocal timbre or quality, but I can sing the songs the way she sings them, and they're all so good that people sing along, and it doesn't really matter that I not 100% like sound exactly like her, but they can still relate, and yeah, the tunes are awesome.
The songs, man, start to finish, it's amazing. Her catalog is it blows my mind how many great songs she has. You can't actually see a Pat Benatar show and get all the hits in. Heart's the same way. I was really disappointed in the last Heart show because they did so many Zeppelin covers, and I was thinking, you guys have so many hits. You just skipped 10 of your top 20 hits to do some Zeppelin covers. And
the thing is with Heart, especially Anne doesn't want to play all that stuff anymore. She's kind of forced to, and especially the stuff in the 80s, except for These Dreams, they don't really want to play that stuff because they didn't write it.
Oh, right.
Even though they might have been hits, they didn't make any money on that stuff because that was other writers, so they don't want to do it.
Interesting. That that makes sense. It's kind of like tipping a nod to somebody else that wasn't part of your inner circle. Man, Denise Brown, I love that she's watching this here. And Denise, our heart goes to you right now. She said she loves watching you. Anthony Gaynor, my buddy A-Train, he says he'd like to know what you, Donna, would say to the young people in the industry, the entertainment industry these days.
Well, number one is expand your repertoire. Like, make sure you listen to everything, because a lot of the younger kids, they're listening to rap and stuff, but there's so much, that stuff is good. I'm not saying it's not, but listen to everything. Like you're, there's so much good music from every era, from the 50s. There's so much to learn from the people that came before you.
You bet.
That don't get stuck in one rut and just listen to one kind of music, because you're missing out on so much good stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're serious about your craft, then learn everything you can about it, because it all started from the blues and gospel, and it's evolved and changed and gone back and gone forward again and gone back. Like, it's just one big circle, and you should understand where it's come from. Number two, quit telling me I sound pretty good for an old chick.
Oh, somebody tell you that? Only your husband's the only one that says that, right? Or you're telling Anthony? No, Anthony he's a DJ, but he's also an independent filmmaker. And so when he talked about entertainment industry, I know that he works a lot with younger people. He's doing this circuit right now where one of the films that he worked on has been winning all these awards. And so I think maybe not even in the music industry, but in the entertainment industry that he's asking about, he is kind of the young one. We toured it together many years ago, and he was the young pup out there on the road. But it's amazing to see what he's done, because you said expand your craft, get as good as you can on the things you're interested in. He really did find a way to be able to find his voice with filmmaking, and he's been winning all these awards, but he's so driven and he moves all over the place in order to make those things happen. I think he's in Dallas right now, but he lived, I think, in Phoenix for a while. And he grew up on the coast here in Oregon, this tiny little town, and now he's out there, doing international film festivals. And he's driven in a way that not a lot of younger people in the entertainment industry are, because I think there's some entitlement that goes along with, being young and naive, right? And so we as younger people might feel like opportunity should be given to us without really knowing the hustle, But there's one thing about a lot of the friends that I talk to on the show is that there really is a hustle factor in every single one of them. There's a reason that you got where you've gotten to. If you were to rest on your laurels and think, well, I can be compensated to be a singer in one band, that's one thing. But you're in so many bands, and every time I talk to you, there's another variation of it. I mean, the Fleetwood Mac thing was brand new, but you had just started doing strut, which expanded. You had Laura Branigan thing, but then expanded into more cover top 40 stuff to have, so there's never any resting for you, right? You just keep pushing forward and finding things to find inspiring.
Well, and I'm really lucky that I have Murray, because I'm not a business person at all. And if I don't think Barracuda would have even happened if it wasn't for Murray, because if somebody said, well, I'll give you 10 cents, I'd go, oh, okay, and I'd give the band, split the 10 cents between the band, and I wouldn't even bother getting paid, because I just want to do it. And I'm a wuss, basically. And I think that's one of the reasons why when I was young enough to do it, I probably didn't pursue, because everybody says, oh, you're so good, you could have been somebody. But I, as much as I love music and I love singing, I don't have enough of I don't know if you can call it an ego, or I don't it just goes back to thinking that, I can sing, but I'm no better than, that other person that's singing. So I never really pushed myself, I guess. So it's really important to have that, you have to believe in yourself really strongly. And I guess you have to be a little bit of a narcissist in some ways, because especially in this day and age, if you don't, somebody's going to just run right over you, and there you go, your opportunity's gone and somebody else has it. Don't be an asshole narcissist, but
well, there's a balance, right, between confidence and conceit, right?
Exactly. But yeah, if you really want to do it, then love yourself, but love your friends more.
Yeah. What I love about that is that in somebody's eyes, you might not think that you're at the level of, international stardom or whatever, but you're able to sleep at night knowing that you did it the right way, and pursuing the musical interests and the passion that you have without stepping on toes and without taking advantage of people is so key, and that's what I love about our community. It's what Murray and Jason have done to develop a community is far beyond just the bands, but there's a whole tribe of people that are supportive in this thing. And I know that, it transcends borders. It transcends, all sorts of things. I mean, people's political interests and any, like every every demographic, every age, every, sexual preference, religion, it just, it doesn't matter when it comes to music. And that really is evident when you get our communities together, and
Yeah.
I think that's a nice pairing internationally. I love that you guys are our Canadian sort of an arm of our Canadian music tribe here.
I know. We
You,
love it too.
you,
Yeah.
um, is there maybe anything that you wanted to share with some people, just offering some support and inspiration about kind of managing times right now that's worked for you to kind of do your day management?
To do what?
To sort of manage. So like I mentioned, that some people are coming apart at the seams because the COVID thing is just really, really difficult. Do you have any techniques or any strategies that have worked with you? Do you have any advice for some of those people that maybe are losing hope? That's putting a lot on you, I know, but what's worked for you, hon?
Well, you know what? I don't know if I'm a good person to ask that, because I've always been a take it as it comes kind of a person, and I just deal with shit. I've always just dealt with shit all my life. That's kind of one of the reasons that Murray was in addiction for all those years and I didn't kick his ass to the curb, because I saw that there was a good person there, and I just figured, I just kind of went with it day by day, and if the effort was there, I still kept going.
Okay.
And that's kind of, I don't really have a temper. I don't really have I don't really get angry or frustrated. I just, if there's a problem, I try and figure out a way to solve it, because you can't lose sleep. I mean, you can lose a bit of sleep over stuff that you can't control, but you can't let it control your life, because it's like being mad at somebody and never forgiving them. It doesn't hurt anybody but you. So
Right.
why do you want to hurt yourself? I mean, either try and fix the problem, or try and move past it and find something positive, because life's short and you can't go through life being miserable.
Yeah.
Quit worrying about shit that you can't control. Maybe it's not as big a problem, or come back to it later. Just for that little bit of time, find something that's going to make you forget and make you happy, because you need that balance. You need to find the rainbow in everything, I think.
You're
So
exactly the person that I should have asked that question to. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really struggling. So, I mean, if I had anxiety, depression, or if I was bipolar or something to that effect, then it would be different. But like, I'm a pretty even keel kind of person. Like, Murray and I never fight because because like, I don't like fighting. I'm not a fighter. I don't like arguing. He argues for me because I just back down. And I have company. Come here,
Oh,
Layla.
nice. Layla's
We have
there?
birthday guest.
Oh, hello. How you doing? You got here.
Distance some wine. Yeah, we are.
You got to just come over and sing happy birthday to Donna, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give you a drum roll. Will you do it?
No.
Oh, man, come on. I told Murray, I said I might have to sing, but I'm a drummer, and there's a reason I'm not singing, but.
I was just singing your praises to him a little while ago.
Oh,
so.
thanks.
Yeah.
It's true. She really was. We're loving the. I don't even recognize her with the dark hair. That's amazing. Well, I don't want to interrupt this birthday celebration. I just want to tell you, I'm grateful that you shared those words, because I think letting go and recognize that the things that are outside our control are really a healthy way to be able to deal with exactly what's going on right now. Everything outside.
Go out and help somebody. Go out and do something for somebody. That always works.
I love it. I love it. That's a really beautiful gift that you're providing somebody else on your birthday. I appreciate that. Now you get to do a little bit of Layla and Donna time. I'm excited that you've got a buddy there for your birthday. Thank you for spending the afternoon with us. I appreciate it.
You, I was expecting maybe a half an hour, an hour, and we've been chatting forever.
I know. I just miss you. It's been too long.
Debbie.
I love you too. Happy birthday.
To all our Oregon friends, because we really miss doing what we love doing, and we miss seeing your faces and your fist pumps.
Yeah, absolutely. And the hugs. You'll get hugs eventually, but
And
until
kiss all those guys from Flock of Seagulls for us.
I will. All right, you guys. Happy birthday to Donna. Please, everybody, share a toast here with us for Donna. Happy birthday. Happy 24th birthday. And please give my best to Murray too. Okay.
All right. Love you, Kev.
Love you too. Have a great week, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Bye.